that is the machines or tool for torture.
Simon Cheng is a prominent Hong Kong activist, granted political asylum in the UK in 2020 after being arrested and tortured by the Chinese state.
That time when I was detained is quite intimidating.
In this episode of The Political Agenda, Simon talks about the sacrifices of speaking out in support of democracy in Hong Kong.
For my family's own security, I think the best way would be totally cut off.
Why he still doesn't feel safe in the UK.
I believe that they want to prepare to do some physical attack on me.
And if he'll ever be able to return home.
I need to believe in the long future. I still have a chance that could be back. To me personally, for example, I need to cut ties with my family members, and I cannot go back to Hong Kong. And now even it's not that easy to get a security job, because once I'm becoming still quite vocal, then even the employer will be worried about their own Chinese market or something. So now I'm quite volunteering for that. I almost gave up my career prospect. I heard some sounds of moving furniture, so that's why I felt, oh, that is absolutely unusual, not abnormal, and I felt that is the machines or tool for torture. So I've been told to do squat and for countless hours, and I have been ordered to stand still, deprive my sleep for countless hours, and I can't even say anything. If I want to say anything, that I need to say report to my master, then only then I can be allowed to speak. And if I cannot do the exercise that they order to do, for example like doing squat or something, then I'll be beaten. What I heard, one male voice in perfect Cantonese, then he said, how dare you to serve the British and as you're Chinese to monitor Chinese. And another voice spoke in perfectly Mandarin, said, you will be treated worse than a shit in here, and we understand that you're working for the consulate as a public spying agency, and we're also a spying agency, so you understand that the rule here, there's no human rights at all.
你而家對你嘅違法行為有咩睇法？你可以講下。其實好丟臉啦，好羞愧啦，因為我諗我周圍認識嘅朋友都估唔到我會做呢咁嘅事情啦。我都冇面目去見我嘅女朋友、我嘅屋企人，其實係一個好內疚、好自責嘅事。
If you saw the news from CGTN broadcasting my confession videotapes, and that is under that circumstances, I've been enforced to say something, mainly three things. The first thing is I betray my motherland, that they haven't broadcasted yet. Second one, I have been enforced to confess that I solicit prostitutes. And the third one, I need to say they treat me very well, there's no torture, and let me to access my lawyers and talk with my family, but just because I feel too shameful that I decided not to do so. So all the things that they abuse, I would say that they abuse all that kind of the law, and quite arbitrarily to use it and put me into the very vulnerable position that I cannot make a real choice at that time. I do thought maybe in some way that the two systems could be still exist that time. And when the first time I've been detained and asked the question, I always emphasize that what I did, what I said, supposed to be legal in Hong Kong. Then those national security police told me, well, it might be legal in Hong Kong, but where are you now? I said, I'm in mainland China. They said, that's it. So that's why even what you did, what you said in Hong Kong, we could charge you once you're in mainland China. And I feel that is a blatant breach of the two systems, one country. Then I felt, that's something why I keep being critical of the Chinese authorities, and I feel my case would be one of the very concrete and solid example to let the world to understand why Hong Kong people they fought for. If one country system cannot be maintained, if Joy Declaration cannot be maintained, it means that very likely China in the future, they would expand, whatever we like it or not. And it is very hard to be changed just because of certain leadership. If that is about the structure, it means that it's very hard to change until some regional conflict might be happened. It means what I mean is about South China Sea, Taiwan issue, and this kind of thing is always be the issue. If they cannot constrain their own power on Hong Kong, they would naturally going further. And sooner or later that it would wake the West up. Then they will understand that how to deal with it. And we're like a pioneer, or we're like a God nows in here to always warning the people about this. So in terms of the sacrifice, sometimes I would miss home, and I don't know how to deal with my homesickness. And for my family's own security, I think the best way would be totally cut off all conversation, all communication. And that is really, really tough to me. So even previously, I've been notified that on some Chinese WeChat groups that they're spreading out the message and trying to get my residential address and what I believe that is they want to prepare to do some physical attack on me once that they know where I'm living. So this kind of thing, I feel it would be long term. For the long term, I think the pro-democracy movement of Hong Kong would becoming a global movement. It would becoming not just a matter of the peoples in Hong Kong, but around the world. Because we're intertwined together, the destiny. So when we're the British national, we emphasize the British national overseas citizens as our own identity. Because we're British national, so we're changing the mindset of the Hong Kong people. Becoming in here, we're becoming also the watchdog of the UK government. That we hopefully that if we are part of the Western society, we're part even of the UK society and even the establishment, then we could be more empowered to express our views and insights with China. I need to believe in the long future. I still have a chance that could be back, but I have only one condition for that. I would not make any compromise with the Chinese authority to say, well, if you just keep silence, then you could be back to visit your family or something. The only one condition is that is the true meaning of democracy and freedom could be back. And then if every time that I've been back, then it must be with democracy and freedom, the true meaning of that.